In Fit to Print, players will be racing to assemble the front page of a newspaper over 3 days full of articles, pictures, and ads, all set in a lovely animal world brought to life with art by Ian O'Toole. Each day, players will be given a grid that they must stay within, and each round is broken up into 2 phases during which players must assemble their paper before time runs out. During the reporting phase, players will all begin flipping over face-down tiles to reveal articles, pictures, and ads, which they can choose to keep by placing them on their desk, or they can leave them on the pile face up and grab another tile. These tiles come in various shapes and orientations, and they will eventually make their way onto the front pages of your newspaper, and each type of tile works a little differently. Articles are the bread and butter of any newspaper, and you will want to have a nice variety of article topics. Pink articles are sports and entertainment, blue is the news, and green is business and tech. Articles can go anywhere on your paper, however, you can never have 2 articles of the same color touching, as it's too much of the same topic close together. Pictures are a great way to spice up your paper, and they will score you points for having certain tiles touching them. Some pictures will want certain article types touching, as the picture helps make those articles more interesting, while other pictures will want to be next to good or bad news. Pictures can never touch, however, because ultimately people are here to read your paper, and too many pictures might get in the way of the story. And of course, a newspaper has to have ads. It's how they pay the bills after all. Ads don't score points for you, but they add to your overall ad revenue, and at the end of the game, the player with the least ad revenue is knocked out of the game. In a 2-player game, however, if one player has more than 5 ad revenue less than their opponent, they lose 10 points, but they still get to count their score. Similar to pictures, ads cannot be touching other ads, as people don't want to be overly advertised to. Players will also have a centerpiece tile each round that has special scoring conditions, or they may give players an additional ability or rule they must follow. Players can take as much time as they like in the reporting phase, but once they think they've accumulated enough tiles to assemble their paper, they shout layout, and then they can no longer grab new tiles, but instead must place tiles from their desk onto their paper. Players can place tiles wherever they want, but they can't rotate tiles or have tiles hang off the edge of their grid. Remember the rules for how articles, pictures, and ads have to be placed, because during scoring, if a tile is placed illegally, it must be flipped face down and be worth no points. Once a player likes the way they've laid out their paper, they shout print and take the lowest numbered print token. Their paper is now being printed and it cannot be changed. After the round has ended, it's time to score. Players will score 1 or 2 points for each legally placed article. Pictures will score based on their conditions, as will the centerpiece tile. Ad revenue is noted down as well. Players now need to check the balance of their paper's mood. Take a look at each good news symbol on your paper and compare it with each bad news symbol. The goal is to have an equal amount of good and bad news, and any imbalance will be scored as negative points. Any leftover tiles on your desk also lose you 1 point apiece, however you get to keep those tiles for the next round. Lastly, you'll check for empty white spaces on your paper, and the player with the biggest empty area loses a point, while the player with the smallest empty area gains points. On Saturday and Sunday, the layout space of your paper gets bigger and new centerpiece tiles come into play. You can add variants like breaking news, which gives a new rule or twist every round, and each player can flip over their player aid to reveal a player power that only they get to use. After 3 days of frantically assembling the front pages, the player with the highest score wins.